Good morning, everybody. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and if this is your first time with us, I just want to welcome you and ask that you subscribe because that is how our channel grows. Today, we are going to talk about trellises for your garden. And honestly, I've been working on this video for a week now and haven't had time to finish it. So today, we're going to learn all about trellises. All the trellises that I use in my garden are from cattle panels and T-posts, and I use them in one of two ways. I use them first for my tomatoes as a support system, and it is simply the cattle panel behind it. These are 16 feet long, and I tie these tomatoes, I also have peppers, to these cattle panels to make sure that they don't break off from the weight of their fruit. And my baby Romas are starting to come on out, and it's been a slow garden for us. It took us 2 weeks to get this fencing up and all the fabric out and the trellises, everything. It's been 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, my tomato plants have more than doubled in size. By using this cattle panel, it provides safety against storms. That's one of the things that I really like. We had some major thunderstorms and the wind was 50, 60 miles per hour. These did not break off because it has something to lean on, and that's what you're looking for. Peppers can get very top heavy. So it's not that they're going to climb up my trellis here or up my cattle panel. Instead, it's just to support them so that this tiny little plant is not going to break off when it's fully covered in fruit. The other way that I utilize my cattle panels is by folding them over across the top and coming back down. And that is a trellis that I use for my beans and my cucumbers. This is showing 6 of those trellises that we were able to assemble this week. These trellises are not difficult to make, but it's definitely a 2-person job. What we do is use 6-foot T-posts, and again, 1 cattle panel per trellis. You want to place these T-posts pretty deep into your garden soil. What we did is we use this woven weave fabric, and so I burned a hole for the T-post. Then we pounded it in 1 foot and attached it with these clips. And so these cattle panels are literally like spring-loaded. They're pushing on the inside of these 4 posts. So you definitely want them secure so that they do not get loose. We learned the hard way. Put the bumps on your T-posts on the inside. We ended up putting them on the outside and had to pull out the first entire trellis, which, you know, you just got to do something, but you don't just got to do it over and over again. So the bumps go on the inside of your trellis. This is our gas-powered T-post driver. It was a hefty cost, but we used this a lot. It was so worth the expense. The distance between your T-posts is completely up to you. We went somewhere between 63 and 65 inches between the T-posts on the right and the T-posts on the left. That gives a very wide walkway, but what we're more concerned with is making sure the ceiling is high enough that we can just walk through there, both when we're picking and when we're walking through our garden. Betsy, are you hot? They're a little crooked, but we are pushing 90 degrees, and at this point, it's just a garden. It'll do. I have 6 trellises to grow my beans, lima beans, and cucumbers on. And then I have 10 upright ones that are for my peppers and my tomatoes. Now, I do not have enough for all of my peppers. I had considered buying more, but they're not cheap. Tractor Supply, they're about $33 to $35 for each cattle panel. T-posts, about $5 a piece. So we're talking 10, 20, 50, about $50 for every trellis you make. So they're not cheap to make. The good thing is they're extremely sturdy. I can leave them in my garden over winter and they are ready in the spring. So for me, it is one of the best things because they're durable. They're going to last. Here are a few of my bean plants. They're actually lima beans that I planted just a few days ago. I'd say no more than 3. And the way these trellises work, those lima beans are going to grow up and over the trellis. Now I plant them on both sides and they're going to meet at about the top. Then those lima beans are going to grow hanging down from the trellis. What that does is it prevents your beans from falling onto the ground where the insects can eat them. If it's a lot of rain, they could rot. This keeps them up and it also makes it super easy to harvest. I grow Armenian cucumbers, which are my absolute favorite eating cucumber, but they get to be huge cucumbers and huge vines. And so I have only placed 4 cucumber seeds on each side of my trellis. And then that gives me a total of 8 plants, so it will be climbing up this one. I space my cucumbers 1 foot apart. I am planting lima beans by my new cattle panel trellis, and these are King of the Garden lima beans, and you plant them about 1.5 inches deep. So I drilled that with my auger. Now I'm just going to fill it in with soil. For my lima beans, I put them closer together so that I have 6 plants on each side for a total of 12 plants per trellis. Here is an added benefit that you may not have considered. This is our fence to keep the deer out of our garden. It is 6 foot tall. If a deer wanted to get in the garden, they would jump over that. But oops, right where they need to land is a second fence going along the inside, and that is my trellis. A deer is not tempted to jump from outside because they're afraid of where they're going to land, and they can see there's a second fence. I have also done the same thing on the long fence that's along my hayfield. First off, I strategically place my mineral tubs with my herbs. Same thing, they're not going to jump in because they can't see where they're going to land. They're not going to land in a bucket. And then in between those buckets, I have a trellis. So about 6 foot from that garden fence, I have a trellis, which is another fence. Those deer will not jump in because they're afraid of hitting the fence. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Remember, you can't do everything in one day, but you can just do something. We are so blessed to have you subscribe to our page. I have some of the greatest subscribers, so please join us next week as we add some more gardening tips, homesteading tips, and crocheting. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.